for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages.
Well, it looks like two-tier commie Keir Stalin Stasi Spazzy Starmer is back at it again. Now, there has been so much controversial news surrounding him and things he's said or done in the past 7 days that not only am I struggling to keep up with it, even within this video I can't cover all of it because this video would be an hour long. So I've picked what is in my opinion the top 3 worst things that is coming to the UK or already has happened in the UK that he has announced within the past 7 days as well. But before we get into this video, if you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can find me right here. Again, I can keep you updated a bit more frequently on a day-to-day basis, and again, you get to see me bully the left, which is always the most fun thing possible as well. Also, if you want to join my Discord, both my Twitter and my Discord links will be in the pinned top comment. You get every single minute new UK news, EU news, USA news and other news on top of that as well, plus a general chat and a hobby chat as well. Again, links in the pinned top comment for that. But we're going to be covering the fact that Keir Starmer most likely will have old people's blood on his hands after cutting off the winter fuel allowance. Again, the 15 pence per mile tax is coming to the UK, which will be the death of driving and therefore the death of the UK most likely. And we're also going to be talking about the overall alcohol ban or more restrictions within pubs, bars and nightclubs up and down the UK, which might see the death of the nightlife within the UK as well. But we'll go back to this one. Keir Starmer asked 4 times this morning if he'd like to apologise for taking away pensioners' heating. He refused all 4 times. And again, Tommy Robertson is talking about the amount of freebies that he's got, plus another 20k for his son's accommodation. Vile leeches. So we're going to play this video, and of course this is all based around the fact that he promised not to, raise any taxes, add new taxes before he was elected, and he wouldn't cut the winter fuel allowance, and he went completely 180 on everything that he said. And also, somewhat recently it was announced that the winter fuel payment would be cut for the elderly, and it's been predicted that over 4,000 of the elderly people will die this year due to not being able to heat their houses because it's too expensive. But anyway, let's play this clip from this absolute monster.
Would you like to take this opportunity to say sorry to pensioners like Chrissy?
Well, I am really concerned that we've been put in this position. When you inherit an economy with £22 billion missing, it is a really difficult set of choices. But what I don't want to do is to allow the economy to run out of control.
I asked you, would you like to take this opportunity to say sorry to voters who voted for you, like Chrissy, pensioners who are about to lose hundreds this winter because of your choices?
What I'd say to Chrissy is this. I absolutely promised that we would stabilise the economy to make sure we never had the economy getting out of control again. We then discovered £22 billion missing.
Okay, so you've mentioned the £22 billion a couple of times. Just because I've asked you a couple of times and you have just skirted around it, would you like to say sorry?
The people who should be saying sorry are the last government who left a hole of £22 billion. And they should be sorry for that. They should apologise for that.
You're not going to apologise?
I've come in to fix the mess, fix the problems, and that's tough, really tough decision. And if we don't stabilise the economy, we can't keep to the triple lock. And the triple lock is really important for every pensioner because that is the increase year on year.
Right, so rather than responding on 4 separate occasions in less than 90 seconds, because this was a 1 minute 27 clip, he had 4 opportunities to apologise to one singular pensioner in the UK that the fact that she might die this year because she's got to choose between feeding herself or heating her house. And bear in mind, the UK has a very long winter over here, especially up here in Scotland, and it's brutal, it's diabolical, and she's got to choose between feeding herself or keeping her house warm, which unfortunately feeding yourself is more important, sadly, that you can't have both in the UK anymore. He refused all 4 times. Also did the most classic Keir Starmer thing and say, oh, it was the Tories, it was the last parties, this isn't my fault, I'm not apologising, they should apologise. Again, this is his number 1 strategy. Every time that he is criticised or has any criticism thrown his way, he just goes, oh, it's the Tories, it was Rishi Sunak, it was Boris Johnson, it was Liz Truss, so on and so forth. will take zero accountability for anything, which is blatant signs of a weak man. And he also gives off the same energy as Kamala Harris as well. Anytime she's asked about the economy, rising crime, again rising debts, again rising illegal immigration, her response is to cackle like a wild animal and say, well, I grew up in a middle class neighbourhood. What has any of this got to do with either the UK or American politics or the state of it as a whole? They will not take responsibility, because if you don't take responsibility, you're not going to fix the issues in any way, shape or form. And again, he lied out of the gate. He promised that he wouldn't do this, that he wouldn't raise taxes, he wouldn't add new taxes before he was elected. And not even within the first 7 days of him being elected, he gave Ukraine £15 billion, which I made a video on it as well. The guy is an absolute lying, backstabbing, and he's an absolute sociopath, if not psychopath, on top of that as well. Again, it is estimated that 4,000 elderly people will die due to his decisions to cut the winter fuel payments, and even most of his party members have basically repealed this and don't want this, but unfortunately they can't overrule their own leader, and Keir Starmer's not going to scrap this in any way, shape or form. Again, we can't give elderly people a couple of £100 every year to heat their housing. We can't fix potholes, we can't fix any problems. But when it comes to Ukraine or Palestine or third world countries or anything to do with the climate in other countries, we can literally send billions upon billions upon billions of doubloons over there. This country is an absolute joke, and so is Keir Starmer as well. Anyway, we're going to have to move on, because we can only talk about this on finger painting level, or this video would be an hour long. So this is something else that's coming to the UK. New pay per mile car tax ban means £990 for doing UK average mileage. Now, I'm not going to read this entire thing out because I want to keep the video as short and sweet, and of course I don't have the voice of David Attenborough, so if you would like to pause and read this, feel free to. It's actually quite a short article as well. Also, once this video goes live, my most recent tweet will just be all of these news posts just down below in replies to my most recent tweet if you want to go check it out there. But if we have a little look at 2 of the responses to this news article on Twitter, I want to read these out because I think this is going to be cataclysmic, to say the very least. So there's people, working class party that is Labour, are talking about charging 15 pence per mile to drive on the roads. Average mileage is £10,000. That's £1,500 a year on top of car tax and fuel. Well done to all the idiots who voted for this shower of shitey government members. 100% agree with them as well. Again, every single microscopic thing in the UK is taxed to absolute beyond high hell. It's just unlivable. You can't have a future in the UK. You've got to leave if you even have that luxury to do so. Again, let's just say for talking's sake that you've got to go drop your kids off and you've got to drive back, then you've got to go pick your kids up and then take them back home. That's 4 trips, and let's just say that that's 10 miles. That's 40 miles on one travelling a day, never mind everything else. That's £6 a day to take your kids to school, to and from yourself. It's just unlivable. And this also applies to businesses and 18-wheelers and delivery vans as well, and fast food takeaways and like driving learners, and it applies to every vehicle as well. Again, we rely so much on transport in the UK because it is so beyond vital for the function of this country. And if every single mile we're going to start getting taxed 15 pence per mile, the cost of anything's going to skyrocket. We're going to end up entering into basically Germany after World War I, where everything became so beyond unavoidable that their currency became worthless, or like Zimbabwe. This is going to be an absolute beyond cataclysmic outcome. Again, the whole ULEZ thing started off by Sadiq Khan, who I think is going to be the Prime Minister in 2029. I'm just saying it so I have somewhere to prove that I predicted that. I think that's going to happen. Again, we've got the whole ULEZ thing up and down the UK. Again, it started off in Wales with the maximum 20 mile per hour zones. That's also going to be spread throughout the whole UK as well. And again, the absolute unfathomable tax on fuel, the unfathomable road tax, and then the fucking unfathomable insurance on top of that as well. And now 15 pence on top. And there's other things that I won't understand because I don't drive on top of that. Even driving is a pure luxury. Like, even having a Peugeot 206 to be able to drive that on the road in 2024 is like having a Bugatti in Dubai now in terms of sheer luxury and flex. And How are people meant to afford this? Again, going to and from work, going to and from your kids' school to go pick them up, drop them off, etc. Going to shopping, going out and having fun and just having luxury is going to be unlivable as well. And again, all the delivery drivers will have to pay for this as well. And this is mostly in the name of climate change, because we've got to fight. The UK produces less than 1% and China produces upwards of 71% of the Earth's pollution. Why are we bothering? Why does every single positive change got to be taxing the poorest people within our society? Again, I think driving's fucked. I think it's going to become beyond unlivable unless you're the top 10% in the UK as well, and it's definitely going to go down that path as well. This is absolute just stinking of communism, it really is. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and again, I'll scroll through this if you want to pause and read this. Again, I'm no David Attenborough, but Keir Starmer is forcing pubs to close early to fight crime. I'm losing the will to live to make these videos, I honestly am, and we're going to talk about the SNP up in Scotland as well, because it's going to become even worse up there. Now, Keir Starmer has not only recently decided that smoking outdoors of beer gardens within pubs, bars, restaurants, etc. is now illegal, and even smoking outside the premise is illegal as well. We're now getting this, which basically, if you want to scroll through it and read this, I'll zoom in a little bit to make it easier for you. If you want to pause and read, feel free to. But the whole idea is if we shut pubs early, then that will reduce crime. Again, I don't know how to argue or rant against that because of the sheer stupidity. I really don't. He believes that this will encourage people to go home early, and it will discourage people from hanging around at later times to basically reduce crime. I'm really lost for words at this point. Again, pubs and bars and nightclubs and restaurants, etc. are already struggling because of the cost of living crisis and just the unfathomable taxes on top of that as well. And when you couple the ban on smoking as well, which is half of their clientele at minimum in terms of people who smoke or people who vape on top of that, and all the other changes in taxes coming towards this, and now on top of this they've got to close early, which means less hours, less money. It's really that simple. This is the death of the night scene within the UK. I don't know how they're going to survive this in any way, shape or form, and in Scotland it's going to get a lot worse very soon as well. And once we get to the bottom of this, which hopefully will be very soon, there we go, we can now talk about this, which is Count Dankula's 2 Electric Boogaloo's second channel within this video. SNP plans to ban pint glass logos. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling to keep my mental health in check making these videos. It's just frustrating as high hell. Now, if I play the video in the background right here, obviously I can't play the audio as well, but Count Dankula made some absolute fantastic points throughout this video, and I'm going to echo them in just a second. But the SNP in Scotland have decided that alcoholism, alcoholics and just overall deaths related to alcohol has become out of control. It's the highest it's ever been in 15 years in Scotland, and we need to fight back and stop alcoholism to make it basically to improve Scotland's alcohol consumption rates as a whole. How will we do this? How will we succeed? Let's ban alcohol logos on glass tumblers and make them illegal in Scotland. Also, any pub garden umbrellas that have the Tenants of Foster logo, they're now illegal. And also alcohol logos on the pint drafts that pour your pint at the bar itself, they're now illegal. And that will stop people from becoming alcoholics. I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm struggling as well. Again, everything that I've just mentioned as well about how this is going to be the death of the night scene up and down the UK because of all these extra restrictions. It's just unaffordable. You cannot make money. You can't even breathe without being taxed in your own pub, bar, nightclub and restaurant. How much is this going to cost the pub owners, the nightclub owners, the bar owners and the restaurant owners to throw out thousands upon thousands upon thousands of tumblers and wine glasses and beer mugs and shot glasses that might have these logos on them to replace them with the exact same thing just without the logo? And again, this goes again with having to scrap all those really posh, lovely little logos that are all 3D that are on all of the basically the pint pullers, the beer draft devices. I'm struggling to speak. I want to end this video, and but anyway, like they're going to have to throw them out as well. Again, all the umbrellas are going to have to get chucked out, and all of the logos throughout the public, chalkboards and advertising banners as well. It's going to cost them thousands. It's going to cost them maybe thousands upon thousands, maybe even up to 10 grand per location to replace this. They can't afford this in any way, shape or form. They just cannot as well. I don't know how they're expecting to keep these places up when it is beyond impossible to afford this anymore. It is an absolute beyond joke. Also, I'm willing to make a prediction just before I wrap this video up. UK cigarette brands and packaging have to look beyond identical. They're not allowed to have their own identity or their own logo or their own colour theme anymore. So every single packet of cigarettes or rolling tobacco or cigarillos or cigars that are commonly sold within supermarket or your local shops are all this compost greeny brown colour with the most default font on it, which is Arial font, and all it says on it now is, and again they're all identical, they just say on the packet Windsor Blue Super Kings, Rothmans Blue XL, Mayfair King Size, etc, etc as well. I think they're going to try that with alcohol very soon throughout the UK after the SNP have tried it. Oh, has that worked really well, quotation marks, in Scotland? Let's just make every single brand have a white paper logo on their alcohol canisters of any description, and in Arial font they can just say Smirnoff Vanilla, Thatcher's Gold, Tennant's Premium. Again, it's such a communist dystopian nightmare, and I'm going to predict they're going to do that with alcohol as well. And I think their overall plan is a tinfoil hat theory, is to slowly but surely ban alcohol as a whole to appease the Muslim community, because I've got a weird feeling that this is why they're doing it. Again, I'm just saying. I think Keir Starmer is not going to survive until the end of Christmas period, December. There's already talks with him having a vote of no confidence and him being forced to resign against his will, because he's gotten the lowest political poll rating in British history, which is a -26 or -29. People can't tolerate this anymore. It is beyond disgusting living in the UK. This is the worst time in British history right now, and everyone is suffering. The working class, even the middle class are suffering, and the upper middle class are going to feel it within the next 2 years. I don't think he'll be tolerated until Christmas. I think he'll be forced to resign, or somebody's going to find him a very lovely, comfortable, memory foam, orthopedic lamppost for him to rest his eyes for the foreseeable future, to say the very least. And whoever replaces him will probably be 10 times worse. I absolutely despise democracy. The man is the worst leader in British history, and he has to go. This cannot be tolerated any longer. But I'll wrap the video up there. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's greatly appreciated. If you could like, subscribe, hit the bell notification as well, that would be greatly appreciated for all of the support. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree in anything that I've said. Also leave a comment down below if you think I've missed anything of key importance. Again, just let me know down below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's right here at rant-A-holic, and of course my Discord, again, links in the pinned top comment. Please go check out my other videos as well. I've covered multiple times on Keir Starmer, UK news, American news, and just oddball news as a whole. But yeah, I love yous all, and as always, keep on rolling. Have a great day and a better week to follow. See yous!